Hey everyone, the teaser trailer for the Foundation series coming to Apple TV Plus is awesome, and there's a lot to break down. We get some insight into the production process, and we can see what mirrors the books and what doesn't. This is a shot-by-shot analysis. Let's get started. I'm Luigi, welcome to Foundation Era. I'm going to talk about the trailer itself first, and then we're going to get into the interview and behind the scenes look portion. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, you should pause this video, you should go watch that, and then come back. Now, without further delay, let's get into the trailer, which starts at about 45 seconds into the video, which has been posted to YouTube. First, we have the opening shot. It's this incredible tower. It seems to stem from the planet we see below in the distance. And then the next shot shows us the inside of that tower, which we're now learning has an elevator. I mean, thank God, can you imagine all those stairs? I'm not thinking this as just a building, I'm thinking more of it as a space elevator. This is a science fiction concept that, if ever made possible, would dramatically reduce the cost of bringing things to and from, well, space. Engineers have theorized about actually building these on Earth, but it seems one of the biggest hurdles right now is developing materials strong enough to keep such a structure together. If you think about it, our planet rotates at thousands of miles an hour, so a superstructure reaching out from Earth into space would be subject to an insane amount of centrifugal force. Materials we use to build things now would rip apart under that kind of stress. Funny enough, there aren't any space elevators in the Foundation novels. The first Foundation story was written in the 1940s, so I can forgive Isaac Asimov for not thinking about space elevators at that time. Now, we don't know for sure what planet this is yet, but it has some unnatural looking features that I think can give us a pretty big hint as to where we are right now. You can see these lines on the lower left of the screen. Seen from space, that would suggest structures the size of continents. This leads me to believe that we are looking at Trantor, which is the capital of the Galactic Empire in the Foundation universe. Trantor is a city that covers an entire planet. If you want to be really nerdy about it, there's a word for this kind of planet city, an ecumenopolis. It's not a word I'm going to use a whole lot, but now you know. An ecumenopolis, you might be more familiar with seeing on screen, is the capital of the Republic in the Star Wars universe, which is heavily featured in the prequels. I hope and expect we'll see more of Trantor in the Foundation show as it goes on. The seat of the Empire is here. According to the books, 40 billion people live here, and they spend most of their lives never leaving the indoors, and they actually like it that way. In shot number 3, we learn the person in the elevator is actor Lou Lobel, who is playing Gal Dornick. In the books, Dornick is a mathematician from an insignificant world, to be honest. Dornick is recruited to join the Seljan project on Trantor. What I think we're seeing here is Dornick's first sight of the capital of the galaxy, which is actually how the first novel starts. Up next, we see giant doors open to reveal a hall. I think this hall is likely in the Emperor's palace on Trantor. It's lined with busts, which are probably depictions of generations of galactic emperors. Now, we hear the voice of actor Jared Harris, who will be playing Harry Seldon. In the books, Seldon is the father of psychohistory. This is a form of mathematics that he invented, and it quantifies trends in human behavior. These quantities, values, or numbers can be plugged into psychohistoric formulas and equations and predict future events in human society. We see Seldon talking to Dornick, and he says,
"They're going to arrest me tomorrow. And you. It's almost a certainty."
We then get this really cool shot of people paddling on a boat on a ringed planet. I'll be honest with you, I don't know where this is, I don't know what's going on for sure, but I do have a theory. I think that this takes place on the planet Synax. What we're seeing might be Gal Dornick leave her homeworld to travel to Trantor. In the first Foundation novel, on the very first page actually, we learn that Gal Dornick is from the planet Synax, though we never actually visit it in the books. Let's go to the source material. In the first Foundation novel, Gal Dornick is introduced as a younger guy, and it says, quote, "His name was Gal Dornick, and he was just a country boy who had never seen Trantor before. Even though he had lived all his life on the world of Synax, which circled a star at the edges of the blue drift, he was not cut off from civilization. You see, at that time, no place in the galaxy was. End quote. So that's my theory for the shot sequence. If I'm right, Synax looks like a really cool place that we'll actually get to see that we never visited in the books. It was kind of regarded as a place that wasn't really well known. If you have any other ideas about where this might be, definitely let me know in the comments below. Now, the Selden-Dornick conversation that we're hearing as a voiceover continues.
You're familiar with my work, psychohistory?
Yes, in theory, but I don't know what it has to do.
It's not a theory.
In this sequence, before it fades to black, we're seeing Dornick get off the boat and walk toward a ship. I mean like a spaceship, not another boat type ship. Anyway, she's leaving home and she might be a bit apprehensive about it, or maybe Synax is kind of boring and she can't wait to embark on a journey to the center of the galaxy to work on this mathematics project. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what direction they take this character arc in.
They're worried you can predict the future.
They're worried people believe I can. And they don't like the future I predict.
Now let's get into this sequence of shots. It looks like we're witnessing some kind of Imperial Ceremony. Who I presume to be the Emperor is walking through ranks of people in elaborate costumes. This has a very medieval feel to it. Leaders through history have had courts like this to project power. Holding a court in this very visual, elaborate way is a way to say, look at how many important people are loyal to me. It's funny to see such an arcane custom in a setting that's supposed to take place tens of thousands of years in the future. Though I should add, most governments today still do some version of this, so maybe it's not that far-fetched. We also get a quick shot of this kid, potentially a royal brat. I don't know who he is, but he could be next in line for the throne. I guess we'll have to find out. We then see a car of some sort, without wheels of course. In Asimov's novels, as some of you may know, that take place this far in the future, there is no mention of wheels. There are, quote, ground cars, but it's not entirely clear if they touch the ground at all. And we're introduced to a new character. This is actor Leah Harvey, who will be playing Salvor Hardin. In the books, Hardin was the first mayor of Terminus. Terminus is a planet that becomes one of the most important planets in all of the books, but it doesn't appear in the first short story of the Foundation novel at the beginning. I wonder if we're looking at scenes that take place later in the first season here, or if the timeline of events gets compressed a little bit for the sake of TV. Also a quick note, in the books, Mayor Hardin was a badass, intelligent guy who smoked a lot of cigars. In this trailer, Hardin appears to be a badass woman who's running around on a frontier planet with a rifle. Is this part of a mayor's job in the TV adaptation? Once again, I have no idea what's going on, but I like it. We also get a quick shot of actor Laura Byrne, who will be playing Edo de Merzel. De Merzel in the books is the Emperor's manipulative right hand, the person who's really holding the puppet strings that control what happens in the Empire. We then get another quick shot of the ship we saw earlier that picked up Gal Dornick on what I think is Synax. Then we see actor Alfred Enoch, who we don't yet know who he's playing. In this two-shot sequence, he's discovering some sort of destruction which is analogous to the galactic cataclysm Selden is referring to in the voiceover at the time. Quote, "They don't like the future I predict." We then get our first good look at good-looking actor Lee Pace, who will be playing Brother Day. The name Brother Day doesn't appear anywhere in the novels, but Apple is saying this character is the Emperor of the Galactic Empire. In the books, this would have been Emperor Cleon I. What's going on in this moment? The Emperor could be struggling to hold composure in his own court. This event could be his first meeting with Selden. Imagine Selden is telling the Emperor what his psychohistory is predicting, that civilization is going to collapse. It's like telling a farmer that his crops and livestock have been poisoned, except this is Foundation, so it's millions of planets and quintillions of people who, after an advanced empire held them together for tens of thousands of years, are about to enter an age of ignorance and chaos. We're talking on the cosmic scale of Asimov writing. It's awesome. We then see some more scenes that appear to take place around the Emperor's palace. In this bird's eye shot of a procession, we see some kind of seal or insignia. If this is the seal of the Galactic Empire, it will definitely be a departure from the seal in the books, which is described as a silver arrow representing a spaceship traversing a golden sun. You can see it here on this coffee mug I found online. This bears some similarities to a commonly used NASA seal you've probably seen, which shows a red chevron. The red chevron, which is a V shape, was chosen because at the time of the design, it was the shape of the latest and greatest hypersonic craft. So it represents aeronautics. In the NASA seal, that red chevron is traversing a blue circle representing space. There are stars in the blue circle, one of them being the constellation of Andromeda. But this seal in the teaser is not the seal of the Galactic Empire, it's something entirely different that I've never seen before. Maybe this seal is representing something else. Maybe it's the family crest of the Emperor currently in power, or it's just the seal of the Imperium itself, similar to how the US has a presidential seal. The finale sequence is a bunch of very fast cuts. Let's quickly go through them.
The Empire will fall. Order will vanish. There's massive events rushing to meet us.
We see Harry Seldon meeting the Emperor face to face, showing us that this piece of conversation in the voiceover apparently comes from, well, a very consequential meeting of theirs. We also see a bunch of other very fast sequences like crowds, book burnings, and some kind of dinner gone awry. One shot I think is significant is at a minute 46. There's this helmet-looking device that deploys what looks like plastic wrap over Lou Lobel's, Gal Dornick's, face. This is not an FDA-recommended face mask. Don't attempt to make one of these at home. We could be witnessing Dornick being put under arrest, as foreshadowed earlier in the trailer. Another shot I'd like to note is this object in space. I'll talk more about it later. But is it a super weapon? Please no. Is it some kind of hyperspace travel gateway? Let's also not do that. The books have no use for such plot devices. In Foundation, pretty much all spaceships have their own capacity for hyperspace travel, and that's that. Here's the final bit of the trailer. Notice how leading up and through that climax, there's a ticking clock rhythm, depicting the theme of time running out. You can't outrun the future, it's rushing at you. That's an intense way to think about existence. Now, there's a whole other component to this trailer, the behind-the-scenes look. There are some interesting things to pick apart here. First, at the beginning of the trailer video, there's this introduction section where we see executive producer and writer David Goyer, and he talks about the making of the show. We can even see some of the scope of the production in the shots that play while we hear from Goyer. We see shots of people working with detailed models, like this one at 27 seconds in. This artist is putting in serious work on practical effects, and that's pretty cool. And we can see this object later as it appears in the show at a minute 40 and again at a minute 50 in the video. There are a very few shots in the trailer that I didn't cover here. I didn't think there was much for us to gather from the scary cat-looking thing or the shot of the Emperor giving that kid a hug. But if you have any insight about these shots or anything else I did cover, I want to hear all about it in the comments below. Also, as I continue to make these videos, I'll be looking for fan art that depicts scenes or characters from Asimov's Foundation universe. If you're an artist or know of any that would like to see their work appear here, please email foundationerachannel@gmail.com, or you can even hit me up on Twitter at foundationera_. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. If you like this video, please just annihilate the like button, or even better, hit the subscribe button, so you always know when I have something new on the Foundation novels and TV series as we get closer to the show's release. In the meantime, stay safe, healthy, and thanks for watching.